Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Dwight D. Eisenhower, great former president of these United States, said this, and these words really ring true today. There must be justice, a sensed and shared justice by all peoples, for without justice, the world cannot know only but a tense and unstable truce. How true. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. We need a patriot to call in with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on, get out of bed. It's a Thursday. Good morning, good morning. Love that lady's song. Thank you very much. Good morning. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, with, of course, our major sponsor. Thank you to the Les Schwab Tire Centers. Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Wow. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and let's find out who's going to give us the pledge this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Well, my buddy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Always well done, my dear friend. God bless you, and call back in a little bit if you would, please.
You got it.
All right. Thank you so much. A little bit of feedback coming down the line again, Wheels, if you can kind of regulate that a little bit as we get ready for our weather forecast. And, of course, the weather sponsored by K&R Rental. Hello, Roger and the crew this morning at 256 South, 600 west of Hebron on the Burley-Paul Highway. Number to call, 678-3122. I mean, they've got all the tools, all the equipment, all the top brand names, everything for you to finish your construction project, whatever you're doing. You get a hold of them today and get the information about the available tools and equipment that you need. All right? K&R Rental. Right now, here's the weather.
Feels more like spring than it does like winter. Another beautiful day in the valley, and here is what your weather forecast is panning out to be. Partly sunny skies, high of 37, a little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 8 miles an hour. Tonight, more clouds moving into the valley. Low of 21. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, high of 40. Tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain showers, possible snow showers up in the higher elevations, low of about 25. That is going to carry over for Saturday. 40% chance of rain showers, high of 40. Chance of snow showers for Saturday night with a low of 26. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies and a high of 38. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Well, thank you very much, Gina. And the weather, of course, not too shabby right now. Brought to you by K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. You better believe a great big front yard. You can see a whole bunch of the equipment out there for you at K&R Rental. Number to call and get more information, 678-3122. Roger and the crew serving you at K&R Rental. Hey, Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves. They're here to get all their 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And this is the sale that works for you. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, and, of course, the number to call for cattle consignment, sale information, 678-9411. An old old friend of ours from down in Honeyville, Utah, Craig Cross, former all-around cowboy, is going to be bringing in 40 head of light calves today. They're going to have a lot of butcher cows, P-Bar S Dairy, Oak Valley Dairy, TLK Dairy. The Parkers up at Richfield coming down with butcher cows. And the sale time, 10:30 this morning, along with that great big trailer line run of cattle. All of this and more at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time today at 10:30. Don't you miss it. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and I selling $35. Zeb Bell get the bottom again.
We sure did, but I'll tell you what, I'll take that bottom price anytime. Morning to you, and we'll look forward to calls and well wishes, so give us a jingle at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you that my old buddy, I haven't talked to him for a while, Ron Ellis, my goodness, what a super guy he is. He sent me a message last night, and I got to share this with you. Visualize a picture of the United States and over 3/4 of the United States, and this is a true kind of a cartoon depiction. Over 3/4 of the United States is at the lowest, coldest temperatures with a bunch of snow all over the United States, from the northern tier all the way down to Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, etc. And I had to chuckle because with this map showing the frigid cold and the snow, it said Trump in office only 1 year and has already cured global warming. Love it. Oh, thank you, Ron. We appreciate that. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want you to remind yourself that if you get hungry today, there's a place that's just beckoning you to come on in and enjoy the delicious menu. Oh, yeah, Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and also another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Now, Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Thomas and the whole crew over there, they really put forth a great plate of food, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You stop in, you'll see what I mean. You're going to love it. And nice, friendly people, too. All of this at the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Yup, it is America's Diner. A little bit later on this morning, we're going to have the lovely Rita Ramsey on our program, talking all things political. And with that being said, I want you to remember that for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, you probably won't have to worry too much about the cooling. In the next couple of days, we're going to see some changes. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. They open the doors early in the morning to serve you and your family and your people at 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. And like I said, all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, and they've been in business serving you, and this is a great tribute to them for well over half a century. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley. Really nice people. All right, now let's hit some of the news. Ugly news yesterday. Funny how when I said the word ugly, I had to segue a little bit to one of the most disgusting women on television. Now, I know there are people out in the audience that are going to yell, sexist, male chauvinism, how dare you? Go ahead and yell all you want. It's not going to change my mind. Joy Behar has to be one of the most repulsive, one of the most homely, one of the most snarling, one of the most vicious and vile women ever to sit in front of a TV camera. And she has nothing on that so-called television program called The View to spew other than hate and discord and complete animus against anybody that is a conservative or a Christian. So I guess when I'm talking ugly news, I had to start off with Joy Behar because the woman absolutely is a poster child for a complete renovation. Personality and looks. But I believe it's about time, and I want you to chime in on this. The good people that believe in good for their family, their community, their state, their country, need to start speaking out and absolutely demand better for this country. And somehow, and I underline the word somehow, we need to stifle and minimize the terrible, destroying left. I'm very serious. We are looking at a world of chaos. I called a lot of people in New York City and Washington, D.C. yesterday and again early this morning. And the climate in this country, and I'm not talking weather, the climate in this country of hatred towards the Donald Trump administration and the chaos and the disrespect of the office. I hated Obama. I will use those words. I didn't trust him. I did not like him. I did not like his policies, and I certainly did not like anybody on his administration, and not without naming, the likes of Eric Holder, etc., right on down the line. But I never had that much animus of disrespect towards the office. We condemned and we talked about and chewed apart, if you will, the policies of Obama, but never with the hatred that's being shown now to this president. And it's got to change. And I'm open for ideas. I don't know what the ideas are, whether it's term limits. I don't know whether it's going to involve, and I mean this seriously, involve chaos and chaotic confrontations with the right and the left. I don't know. But something has got to change in this country to put America back on track for the Constitution and its values, our freedoms, and our rights. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, how's everything coming through over there this morning, old partner?
It sounds good to me.
Okay, yeah. You made me worry a minute. I thought, oh, no, do I have to dock his wages because he didn't have his headsets on?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I've just been kind of listening if you start cutting out or if I start hearing any blips. But
if the network boys come in and interfere with us today, you have my permission to get a bullwhip and chase them out of Dodge City. Okay?
I can do that.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. Hey, I took a little spill on the ice yesterday. Oh, it was a classic confrontation. I got to tell you that I was going out to the barn, and between my horse trailer and the barn, there is about a, 10 by 20 great big patch of ice. And I have navigated that very well over the last couple of days, knowing where to put my feet and my outrigger crutches and not take a spill. But yesterday I became a little slovenly with my approach to the ice, and it was a dandy fall. And I went up in the air, knowing that soon gravity would take over and crash my fat little body back down to the earth, and I knew it was going to hurt, and it did. Wow. Be careful on the ice out there, folks. And if you have a spill like I do and you can't motivate, you better get a hold of my friends. And I'm going to, if I don't feel much better in the next day or so, I'm going to call my friend Nick Greenwell and all the physical therapists over at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Watch out for the ice and the sprains and the strains and everything else. They can help. They will help. They know all the exercises. They've got that great hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in the area. All you have to do to make an appointment is call 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Oh, boy, the best serving you. Oh, my. Let's see what else we got cooking here this morning. I'm going to have one more good word, and then I'd like your calls. Don't leave me hanging, folks. I want to hear from you this morning, so give us a jingle on the landline. I want to remind you about Pomerelle Place. The Holly Rose sent me some information that we're going to talk about next Wednesday, but I want to remind you that if you're a senior and you're living at home alone, boy, oh boy, we wish you the very best, and be careful. I mean, the isolation of living alone is bad enough, but, you know, the safety hazards and the injuries when you're alone and the poor nutrition, you're not making a gourmet meal. You might have a Pop-Tart or whatever. Missed medication. Hey, senior living at Pomerelle Place offers the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. Call them today at 677-8212. Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living, 1301 Bennett Street in Burley, 677-8212. And while I have just a moment, I get more fun out of doing this commercial. I don't know why, but I want to talk a little bit about Dino's Septic Service. Yes, I giggle every time. I mean, when they came and helped us, that great big truck pulled in the yard. I mean, it's a big dude. And backed in the yard, and we needed our septic tank pumped out. And there on the side of the door, smells cargo on the way. It's fantastic, the job they do for a job that we don't want to do. That's right, septic tanks pumped and backhoe service and liquid waste removal and sewer and sink drain lines cleaned. Absolutely, you give them a call over in Rupert at 436-6526 or in Burley 678-1638. Dino Septic Service. You better believe it, they are the best at what they do. All right, give us a call. Thank you. There's the moo of the cow, and I'll bet you I know who this is. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was watching news this morning, and somebody mentioned on there all the things that Trump hasn't done.
I'm giggling, Doug, because I am so fed up with the left loons that say, well, he didn't do this yet, he didn't do that yet. Listen, I've got a list of the accomplishments that he has done in the first year, so all I can tell these people is go sit down in the corner and shut up.
Yeah, and the list is quite interesting. He hasn't started World War III.
Yeah, there you go.
And he didn't crash the stock market or the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't pushed the LGBTXQ or whatever acronym they're using.
The alphabet.
Yeah. He hasn't pushed them out of society or rounded them up and taken them out.
Yeah.
I mean, all the predictions the left was saying that would happen if Trump was elected hasn't happened.
They are absolutely a scientific marvel, and I'm going to explain why I said that. The left and Democrats have created a machine that can run on nothing but hot air.
Very, very true. They need to market that and put it inside a car, and they'd have green energy.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of clever on my part. I'm patting myself on the back.
I like that statement you made about in the first year Trump stopped global warming.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I got to use that.
But, you know, really, it's true. Why do we keep picking at the man? You know, later on this morning, I'm going to have a lady on my program by the name of Rachel Alexander. You've heard her before on my program. She's from Arizona, and she writes for The Stream. And she has got 12 wishes for this administration and our country. And in one of those wishes, she said she wished basically, I'm giving a summation right now, so bear with me. She gives a wish that the media would stop wanting Trump to be Jesus. He's not. He's a man that has never been a politician. He's a businessman, and he makes a lot of mistakes. He can't be perfect.
No, but look what he's done. Look what he's accomplished. He has taken his business mind, which is fabulous for what he's done, and turned it into politics and bringing our country around, running it like a business instead of like a slush fund for their friends and their cronies for crony capitalism.
Well, I just heard,
like it should be.
Before I went on the air this morning, I have a tendency to want to check the stock market and everything. Not that I'm a big stock market analyst, but I like to follow the stock market a little bit. And maybe you have heard this since I went on the air, but the prognostication by a lot of the top people that know the stock market, know the ins and outs of what's pushing it upward, there was a movement this morning that I heard it might top over 25,000.
Yeah, and I've heard a prediction from several of them said it's going to be close to 30 by next year,
yeah.
At the end of this year.
Yeah.
They said because what pushes it is the GDP, the corporations, and if they make money, they pay their dividends out to the stock owners, and it's just, he says, they don't see a downside in it.
I honestly believe this and believe me, Donald Trump is absolutely, he has a lot of holes in his screen door and great big deficits in his personality. There's no doubt about it because he's not a perfect person. But this is what I'm going to say. If he wore today the wrong colored socks with a suit, the left would absolutely go livid.
They would. They find every little thing they can about this man to be negative.
Yeah.
If they was to give him a chance and say do 50-50, half of their reporting be negative on him and the other half be positive on what he's doing, we would be united.
Well, you don't have to go with percentages, Doug. All you have to do is be honest.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But they're doing about 93% negative.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why the country is divided. That's why Americans are pitted against each other, because the media is lying to them, and half the country's believing it.
Well, I know that you're working at your business every day and probably do not have the chance, and quite frankly, maybe it's a blessing, to see and or hear Joy Behar on The View. I said it earlier, I'll stand behind it. She is one of the most repulsive, homely, snarling women ever to sit in front of a television camera, and when you have the likes of her throwing more wood on the fire of hating conservatives and Christians, it ain't going to get better soon, Dougie.
Exactly. She, some people might think she's, attractive.
How?
But, physically. But she has an ugly heart.
You might say that someone could possibly find her attractive, but I think that maybe the eyesight on the eye chart is not functioning.
Well, there's one for everybody in this world.
Oh, yes. Well, maybe that's all the more reason why she's still single.
Well, I think it's more the heart.
Okay. I got to run.
Nothing against women, that's for sure, but I just like what Trump is doing, President Trump, I'm sorry, and if people would just let him do it, and he's trying to do it at business speed instead of government speed.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. I like that. Government
speed is like a four-wheel drive in low-range first gear.
In mud. Yeah.
And Trump's speed is high range, high gear.
Yeah, and going downhill.
Yep.
Hey, I got to run, buddy.
Anyway,
thank you.
Hey, everybody, let's take care of our senior centers. I know I keep bragging, or harping on this, but let's do what we can. Like I said, they've helped build this country so we can reap the rewards. Let's take care of them.
Amen. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. God bless you.
God bless.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Scott Mitten, yes, with Keelix supplements, a very important supplement of vitamins and minerals for your livestock. They need that little extra push in the wintertime. They do. Whether you got beef cattle, dairy cattle, horses, sheep, goats, doesn't make any difference. They've got all kinds of different formulas, and they can help you with Keelix supplements. Call him at 435-230-1175, and he can help provide your cattle what they need. So please get him I bit my tongue. Get a hold of him today. Keelix supplements, Scott Mitten, 435-230-1175. By the way, too, later on this morning, we're going to be talking to Alex Judd with the Urgent Cares, and I just want to give a great big shout out and salute to the Urgent Cares. They took off and absolutely are growing for the benefit of you, your family, and making it easier and, quite frankly, more affordable for your health care. Riverview Urgent Care at 382 North Overland in Burley, Urgent Care of Jerome at 133 West Avenue A in Jerome, and Urgent Care of Twin Falls at 2392 Addison Avenue East. Boy, I tell you what, whether it's a cut, you need stitches, or a sprain, a strain, fracture, care for the whole family, and you're not going to wait. You're going to get treated, not seated, and they always have a qualified provider on staff all the time. Absolutely saving you money, the Urgent Cares. In Burley with Riverview Urgent Care of Jerome, and Urgent Care of Twin Falls. Thank you to the Urgent Cares. All right, now it's your turn. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear this? I cannot believe that this guy is holding an office of being a Missouri state representative. And, yeah, he's a Democrat. Listen to this. He protested during the Pledge of Allegiance. Democratic Missouri State Representative Bruce Franks Jr. protested during the Pledge of Allegiance before the start of the 2018 Missouri legislative session, and he stood with his fist raised during the pledge instead of putting it over his heart. And this guy is one sick puppy. He is a former rapper. Yeah, I mean, you know, the dirty songs and all the absolutely crude language and everything. And they sent on this news report a little bit of a semblance of some of the songs, if you want to call them that, from his previous rap career. And I got to take out some of the words. I can't use some of the words on the radio. But I'm going to this is a kind of a class act, and I put that in parentheses. That's a Missouri state representative. Listen to this. I off them if they snitch. I put a shotty to their body, send them straight to the reverend. I put them in a body cast, put them in a body bag, tie them to the back of a Chrysler, and then it's body drag. And this guy gets elected on the Democratic Party as a Missouri state representative. And he stands there with his fist in the air during the Pledge of Allegiance. What a great guy to have in office. Boy, there's somebody for the kids to look up to. What a moron. I'm going to mention his name again in case you want to write back and tell him what a jerk he is. I think I will. Democratic Missouri State Representative Bruce Franks Jr. Bruce Franks Jr. Be sure and let him know that he's a nincompoop. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear that California, this state is driving me nuts. There are so many nice people in California. I mean, I've rodeoed in California for years. Red Bluff and Alturas, Bakersfield. I've been all over that state. And there's really good people in the conservative areas. But then you get to the metropolitan areas like L.A., Sacramento, San Francisco. Boo-wee, Twilight Zone material. But now California is coming up with another banning And we're going to talk about that in just a minute, so don't go away. Don't forget our friends at Barry Equipment and Rental. Later on this morning, I'm going to have Juan on the program. And, of course, sales, service, and parts. Barry Equipment and Rental, they have all the equipment to get the job done right. And they've got all the Bobcat excavators, and new and used, all shapes and sizes. And if you don't know how to use a Bobcat and you're a little bit timid, don't worry. They got a big sandbox out behind. And before Juan and the gang send you home with that Bobcat, they're going to give you a lesson on how to run it. Man, you're going to be a pro. So don't worry, they've got all the equipment rentals, all the retail equipment sales. They've got it all for you at Barry Equipment and Rental. South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Barry Equipment and Rental. Good morning.
Yeah, Deb, how you doing? Sound like you're all fired up.
I'm trying to be.
Yeah, that's not a bit of a problem. Yeah, on this last little thing you're talking about as far as this representative, so-called representative, never, ever, ever, from the first time I ever got introduced to it, never liked that rap music anyway. That's
it's
so
terrible.
Doggone destructive. It's derogatory. It's totally against, anything of harmony or anything like that, and it's horrible. But then again, also, too, to be in a position where he was at, he needed to have a few higher standards than that. I mean, they go back to that kind of thinking. Although he is a Democrat liberal, that says quite a bit right there.
Let me ask you, though, isn't it funny, sir, and I don't mean funny ha-ha, but I mean funny weird, that we would be hearing the liberal left in this country criticize and demonize our national anthem and try to get it replaced, and yet you can have the left with their absolute garbage rap music, and they can put things out about killing and raping and molesting on their so-called rap music lyrics, and they get away with that. This is insane.
Well, I know it's kind of funny on a side note of what we're talking about. The other day I happened to read, and you may have seen the article about Michelle Obama, where she's really good friends with that Beyonce.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I guess they're just bosom buddies and what have you. But there's a lot of things on Beyonce's music and everything that's just totally, I mean, it would sicken you.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Michelle Obama and Beyonce are two light bulbs in the fixture that aren't burning very bright. Thank you very much for your call. God bless you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. You have a great day.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, I tell you, this rap music, and put a C in front of that if you want to, it's absolutely some of the worst garbage that's put on any airwaves, and the lyrics are so disgusting and so detestable, and going into all the vileness of society with rape and murder and molestation and beatings, they get away with that garbage. They get away with that garbage. And Obama, when he was in office, he had the rappers come right to the White House and sing, if you want to call it singing, or chant this vileness. And yet the left turns around and they say, we can't have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Oh, no, get rid of that. Why, we can't have White Christmas because that's only furthering racism. Huh? And we can't have National Anthem because there's certain things in there that, it's just too violent. But yet they allowed this garbage? The left is insane. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Over the period of the last couple of weeks, I have been blessed to talk about a segment of our agricultural economy that really hardworking people that I just don't think they've ever got the credit or the kudos they deserve. And they wished you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area, past and present. These people that are involved in the sheep industry, really they're a part of Idaho's history and all very proud to be participating in the future. of Idaho, and we salute them. Thank you very much for all your kind thoughts from hardworking, dedicated, strong Idahoans, the lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cache area, and they wish you and yours a very happy New Year. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear the global warming nuts? The climate change nuts are absolutely so arrogant and so defiant against anyone or any group that would ask questions or have a different viewpoint. There was a letter in yesterday's USA Today that I've got to share with you the last two paragraphs to show you and let you kind of chew on it and hear the arrogancy of the left. Let me share this with you. Social psychologists tell us how people react viscerally to their immediate surroundings and how their preconceptions and values inform the way they process information, especially the unwanted kind. So I agree that it's unrealistic to expect ordinary Americans to grasp the complexities of a scientific issue like climate change and support wise policy decisions. I read this letter, and it was written by a guy by the name of Rick Knight back in Brookfield, Illinois. And honestly, with my German temper, my first impulse was to try to reach out and play AT&T with him and touch him right on the beak of his nose. This part that he says, so I agree that it's unrealistic to expect ordinary Americans to grasp the complexities of a scientific issue. That's just telling everybody, well, you're just dumb if you don't agree with me. Holy smoke. That is the character. That is the personality or the persona of these people, the Al Gores and the Tom Steyers and nitwits like this guy, Rick Knight. Everybody is dumb and stupid and ordinary and not able to grasp climate change or global warming if they don't agree with them. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday back on the East Coast, and he is a person that's involved in disseminating the news and getting people lined up for the various news stories. I work with him a lot, and he said, I think with the global warming that's coming in here tomorrow, meaning today, we may not be in our offices because we will be probably at least 11 to 14 inches deep of climate change. And I called this morning, and he's not there. So it's a mess. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, when you run into one of these kooks and crackpots that they think they know everything about climate change and about how they're going to change the world and everything, just pat them on the shoulder and say, easy. Whoa. Take a deep breath. Here, sit on this chair. And let me go get you something cold to drink. And just go easy. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with the Dr. Christine Pickup. Oh, my goodness. She's been an audiology doctor for 10 years. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I started going to her about 2-3 years ago. And, boy, she really helped me, and she can help you with any and all hearing problems. I urge you to make an appointment at 312-0957. And she can and she will help you. Absolutely great people right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. Number to call, 312-0957. Caller, don't you dare go away. I'll be right with you. Here's Gina with the weather.
Feels more like spring than it does like winter. Another beautiful day in the valley, and here is what your weather forecast is panning out to be. Partly sunny skies, high of 37, a little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 8 miles an hour tonight. More clouds moving into the valley, low of 21. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, high of 40. Tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain showers, possible snow showers up in the higher elevations, low of about 25. That is going to carry over for Saturday. 40% chance of rain showers, high of 40. Chance of snow showers for Saturday night with a low of 26. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies and a high of 38. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Gina, thank you. Brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with the wonderful Dr. Christine Pickup. And call the number for an appointment today, 312-0957. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hi, Linda.
Did you ever hear the story about the man who called the Weather Bureau and asked if they would send somebody out to help remove the 6 inches of partly cloudy on his driveway?
I had. That's really funny that you should say that, because one of the interesting things is, and caller number 2, stay there, I'll be right with you. One of the interesting things is, and you know this to be a fact, that the people down in the southeast, whether it's Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, up along the seaboard or whatever, when they get an inch of snow, they're going, "Ah, what do we do?"
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And people out in coastal towns like Eugene, Oregon, have no clue how, if they're in from the coast where they get that weather, have no clue how to drive in snowy weather.
It's like a great big game of bumper pool. I mean, they're out there and they're just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it is.
But
the only ones that can handle it are people from out of town with studs.
And that's really true, because I remember I was going through, oh my goodness, I don't want to say Enum Club, but that's not it. I was going over by, I can't remember the name of the pass up in Washington, and the snow was really bad. And boy, I mean to tell you, I'm driving my pick-em-up truck, and I put it in four-wheel drive, and I'm going along, and I could not believe the insanity of people. Evidently, they think when it's snowing, they can go faster, and they'll get through the storm quicker.
Something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But God bless you.
Doesn't work very well, does it?
I hope you have a very happy New Year and continue singing with that beautiful voice at our lunch bunch. Thank you for calling in.
I will do that. And you have a beautiful New Year, you and Deanne, too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Linda. God bless. Hey, caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Zeb, when them guys start talking like that, you ought to ask them, how many meteorology courses have you taken in your lifetime?
Yeah, really.
Have you ever studied the weather at all?
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, some of these people, and including the Times News in Twin Falls, I mean, they've jumped on the climate change bandwagon to where everybody else that doesn't believe in the Al Gore or Tom Steyer's philosophy, we're all loons. And I'm telling you, I turn the word loon right back at them, because I think absolutely there is going to be, over the next 5 years, a complete dispelling of the climate change warming. I'll tell you why, Jerry. I honestly believe the scientists that have been on my program over the course of the last 18 months, we're in a cyclical pattern of cooling, and it's going to be cold for a while.
Well, things just seem to change every so many years. I can remember back in the 60s, 62, 63, 64, they were talking about the Great Salt Lake drying up.
Yeah. It
wouldn't be there. Boy, it's pretty big right now.
What you ought to do is, I should do this too, I should keep kind of a diary on all the weird, absolutely brainless statements that the left makes, and you could write a book, Jerry, you could write a book.
You sure could, and it'd be a real good book to study.
All right, my friend. Hey,
that's the question I will ask anybody that starts spouting climate change to me. How much meteorology have you studied in your life? How many courses have you taken?
Yeah.
What do you know about it? Do you know anything?
Absolutely.
Or are you just going on hearsay?
Absolutely.
Here on the, I don't know, I think it was a View talk show.
Yeah.
I have never watched it. I never will. So, but this is where they get a lot of their opinions.
Absolutely. Jerry, I didn't get a chance to wish you a Happy New Year. I'm going to do it right now. God bless you and Happy New Year. I've got another call. You take care of yourself.
Yes, may you and your bride have a wonderful new year, and don't be speeding on that little cart.
All right, my friend.
Remember,
thank you.
The speed limit is 80.
All right. Hey, Jerry, thank you. God bless you, man. Thanks.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Caller number 2, you're on the air. Good morning.
Well, good morning. I wonder what the people in Erie, Pennsylvania think about global warming, where they have 5 feet of snow on the ground, and here the other day they were expecting another 18 inches.
I would imagine.
Thoughts are about global warming.
I would imagine right now that most of them, if they that is a cold. I've been there. That is a cold, bone-chilling area of the United States. And I've been in cold before, believe me. I know what cold is. But when you get back there in that country with the wind and then a higher humidity factor and all that snow, I'm telling you, if somebody said there's not hell on earth, yes, there is in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you enjoy your sugar cookies?
You know what? You know my weakness, and a lot of people do. Lorna, the lovely Lorna that goes to Lunch Bunch, she brought me some sugar cookies. You brought sugar cookies. Everybody knows that is my weakness. I don't like them frosted. I just like plain sugar cookies. Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
Well, see, it's your own fault because you told everybody you loved them, and so we accommodated you.
Well, I appreciate you and Nancy so much for what you do and who you are.
We're just going to be going past your house in about 10 or 15 minutes on our way back to where it's warmer.
Well, you just drive carefully, and God's blessings to you, my dear friend. I always appreciate hearing from you. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, take care.
Have a good day and a good year.
Thank you, my dear friend. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention earlier. I'm going to start a kind of a fund to buy a GoPro camera, and then we're going to get it mounted either on your crutches or on your hat or something, and then that way we can upload these videos to YouTube, and shoot, we could start a retirement fund for the Lunch Bunch.
I'm really kind of offended, and my feelings are hurt, that you would try to make money or something off of my physical disdain.
Well, we would share it with you. You'd get an equal portion.
You know, I got to tell you, I've been so careful on this ice. I hate ice, and especially when I had a knee replaced and a hip replaced and everything else. And then last night or yesterday afternoon, if you call California down to the seismic people that run and chart earthquakes, at exactly 2:17, you'll find a big blip on the screen because that's when I went up in the air and came back down to earth.
Well, is that the one when that earthquake down, where was it, down by Berkeley or something?
It could very well have been, because I'm telling you, when I hit that ice and I shot, my feet went up ahead of me, which is not normal, and I knew about 3 feet off the ground that wasn't going to hurt at all. But the coming down on that frozen ground, I got to tell you, I said a few very discouraging words.
I'll bet you did. You probably got pretty good bruise too, huh?
I'm not going to tell you where some of them are starting to show.
Well, anyway, I just thought I was going to mention that earlier, and I forgot it.
Well, I'm so glad you brought it up, but yes, we will mount a little camera on top of my Resistol, and we will be glad to entertain you.
All right, sir.
See you later. All right, take care. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Our major sponsor that has been with us for a long time, and I absolutely think the world of these people, all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, where doing the right thing matters. That's right. They've got all the traction tires. That's not brag, that's a fact. For your car, pickup, SUV, they want to make sure that you get through the snow, the ice, the yuck, the muck, everything, and they can and will help you. They've got all the tire chains. They've got the best in brake service. The best, with the highly trained technicians. They've got, of course, the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. Stop in and see them today. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Remember in the Old West that, and this is true, I'm not making this up, a lot of cowboys had to ride or walk with their six-shooter on an empty cylinder. Because those old guns, sometimes they might get jostled a little bit and they'd shoot themselves in the foot. And we make fun of that today, but it was dangerous for those old cowboys if they had all six bullets in the chamber. North Korea shot themselves in the foot. And this was funny to me. North Korea, last April, appears to have bombed itself in a botched missile test. Here's what happened. One of their missiles crashed down on the outskirts of a city. They were testing a new intermediate range ballistic missile, and this one went way up in the air, and then all of a sudden their scientists said, uh-oh. And it came back down to their direction and caused considerable damage. They don't tell you about this. I just got the news story this morning where basically North Korea shot themselves in the foot with their own missile. I hope things keep going that way. We're going to take a little break. News next from CBS, and then I'll be back in 7 minutes with the Chamber Report. Have a great day. God bless. I love listening to that piano. When he starts it off, he just kind of down the keys. I love that. Morning, Zeb at the Ranch, of course, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, getting you ready and prepared for more of the wintertime driving. We're going to have our guest with us with the Chamber of Commerce in just a moment. Let me not forget right now to talk about some really, really nice people that are serving you, and that's, of course, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. The number to call, number to remember for getting and obtaining pre-information on funerals. All of us should do that. 436-5636. 436-5636. Don't forget that they really serve your families with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving you at Hanson Mortuary. And don't forget, too, Joel Heward serving you and your family at Hanson Mortuary in Rupert and Morrison Payne Mortuary on East Main in Burley. Right now, you know what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to have Old Wheels play a little jingle for Western Way Services, and I'll be right back.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is landing ahead, always at your disposal. Western Way Services.
You know, I want to talk a little bit about the Go Minis. Maybe during the Christmas season, you got a lot of stuff that you don't know what to do with. Here a box, there a box, everywhere a box of this, that, the other, maybe coats. Oh, I mean, it's just a mess. You need a storage unit? They've got them. They've got the Go Mini portable storage units. You can put them on your property, or you can have them filled up, and then they can take it and lock it up on their property. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. You get a hold of them today at 734-6969. Well, right now, let's go over to the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and a lovely lady celebrating the new year. She still has her pointy little hat on and yelling and screaming, Happy New Year! Here's Kyla.
Hey, good morning, Zeb, and Happy New Year to you and everybody who's listening this morning. I have a surprise for you. I am actually not in Idaho right now. I am down in semi-sunny Arizona. I was here last year at this time. This is when we do an annual training for the Chambers of Commerce across the United States. And so I'm down here with some folks from Twin Falls and also some folks from Idaho Falls. And I wish the weather were warmer down here, but it is a lot warmer than it was in Idaho when we left yesterday.
You know something, Kyla? What part of Arizona? Are you in Phoenix or what area?
We're actually in Tucson. We're on the University of Arizona Tucson campus.
Beautiful.
Just outside one of the buildings that we're doing all this training in. So we'll be here through Sunday. A lot of us from different chambers of commerce, just trying to learn a lot of stuff so that we can bring that back to our communities and do a great job for everybody.
Let me ask you this, Kyla, and give me an honest appraisal of the people that you have talked to with various chambers of commerces across the United States. Is the feeling one of optimism after the last year of seeing our economy just go and grow?
I believe it is, yes. From the different chambers, even from different states that I've been able to talk to, people are very optimistic about the economy, and they're very hopeful in terms of what the future can bring. I think there's some legitimate concerns. We're seeing this in our area with workforce retention as well as attraction, and then housing is a big one, especially for a lot of us here in the West, simply because, we've got a lot of businesses that are moving to the area or businesses that are expanding, and we're saying, oh gosh, we need to get some things in place immediately. And so these are some of the big topics that we definitely will be talking about. And then there's some things at the state and federal level, too, that, we share in common with some other states that are big issues for us here in agriculture. So
okay.
It's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be pretty exhausting. We're we're kind of at it all day long, and then we come back late Sunday. But I know I feel bad calling you from Arizona, but I had to be honest about where we're at. We're all doing this training. This is kind of a lighter time of year for us to be able to get away and go do these types of things. I don't mean to be really inquisitive about your schooling and what's going on, but really, what is the bottom line that you hope to take out of that seminar and bring back to Idaho? I think the biggest thing for our chamber right now is growth, and how do we help businesses who are really seeing some expansion, especially with that workforce development. I think for our community, how do we help plan, and how do we, most importantly as a chamber, make sure that people continue to network, meet these new people, meet the existing people, and really understand our community and what's the best way to fit in. I think a lot of times we see new business as a threat rather than seeing it as, this is great. They are bringing in a lot of money to the community. And so how do we all work together? And I'm not saying we're going to sing Kumbaya and hold hands by any means, but just to have a respect of everyone's opinion. I think that's so important. I think a lot of times we're not all going to agree, but we can still disagree respectfully, and that is a much better way to go about it.
All right. Now, is there any event or anything coming up on the calendar that you want to mention and highlight before I let you go?
Yes, absolutely. We have our annual installation banquet happening on February 1st at the Best Western. Tickets are, I think 25. I feel bad saying that. I need more caffeine this morning. 25 for members and 30 for non-members. You can double-check with Jackie at our office, 208-679-4793. We also have some great sponsorships, and the table sponsorships are the coveted thing that we have going on right now, and people are already signing up for those really quickly. So if you want one of those, I suggest you call today and talk with Jackie. Again, the number 208-679-4793. We've got our chamber luncheon coming up next week, January 11th. I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to be over at Intermountain Cassia Regional on Thursday the 11th at noon. We'll be eating in the cafeteria, which has delicious food, by the way. So I'm pretty excited to hear Ben Smalley, their administrator, talk to us about what plans they have for the hospital there. And we just have lots of things coming up the pipe, lots of ribbon cuttings and other things that I can talk about when I get back to Idaho, so that'll be great.
When you say that you're at this seminar in Tucson, Arizona, maybe I missed it when you said it earlier, but are there chambers of commerces there that are represented from all 50 states?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know about Hawaii. Honestly, I haven't quite discovered if there's someone here from Hawaii, but definitely from all over the United States. We even have some organizations like the Natural Gas Association, the Oil Association, Realtors Association on a national level that also participate in this. So that's pretty exciting to be able to talk with some of those folks. And it's a very interesting time. A lot of people from all over across the U.S. who, that's the one thing I can tell you is that there's very differing opinions on a lot of things that are going on. And so this is good for all of us to get together and hear people out and make our case.
And, of course, there are 975 different ways to contact the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce.
Well, I'm just going to stick with 2 today. How's that?
Okay.
But we'll go with our phone number is the best way to get a hold of us. 208-679-4793. Jackie is holding down the fort while a bunch of us are here training. And then also you can jump on our website, minicashiachamber.com, or email Jackie at minicashiachamber.com if you have a question. She'll be happy to help you out. And thanks so much for having me on the show today. Happy New Year. This is going to be a great year, I think.
I think you're right, and I want to say to you, you've been so diligent and so helpful through the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for that update from Tucson, Arizona. Kyla, have a safe trip home. Look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks, Seb. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Boy, she's down in one of my favorite towns in Arizona, Tucson. And that's Kyla from the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Want to remind everybody about Ark Animal Hospital. You know, if you got animals and you've got little pets, whether it's dogs, kitty cats, whatever it is, you're going to run into circumstances where maybe they get injured or maybe they have some sickness or whatever. Well, go to the best. Go to the best to make sure that your animals are taken care of. Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them and can take care of them all. Absolutely. Dr. Bill and the crew over at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. And the number to call, and remember, put this in big black ink on your refrigerator, 678-1177. 678-1177, Ark Animal Hospital. The best serving you, and they do have warm hearts for cold noses. Really nice people. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and guess what else I've got to tell you about? I want to talk to you about having fun outside. Don't work every day and be a taskmaster to everything that enslaves you. You know, get out and have some fun. And maybe that might mean snow machining. Or maybe it might mean going four-wheeling. Whatever the case might be, stop in at Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. They've got all the snowmobiles. They've got all the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides. They've got it all for you to enjoy the great outdoors of southern Idaho. And don't forget, they've got all the accessories. A great big accessory department. But most of all, I want to mention and really give a lot of kudos to the best doggone service department around. They can fix up anything, keep you running right there at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. And this is the truth. They are where the fun is sold. And I'll tell you, somebody else over in that neck of the woods that does an outstanding job, and I'm very, very high on these people, and it's Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. You know, when it comes to life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more, you give them a call, set up an appointment, or if you have questions, give Todd and the crew a great big call over there. They can help you at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. They are dedicated and devoted to serving you at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Wishing you a very happy New Year. Nice people over there. All right, let's go to the phone line right now. And talking about nice people, and boy, I'm right on time for a change. At 9:18 in the morning, Alex Judd with the Urgent Cares. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Bell. How are you?
Well, I don't know about Mr. Bell, but old Fat Zeb's doing pretty good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
You know, did you have a good Christmas and good New Year's, my friend?
Yes, very much so. My family and I are all happy and healthy and doing well.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the urgent cares because, when families get together for Christmas or during the interim between Christmas and New Year's, they're going skiing or they're going sledding or they're going whatever outside, and the ice and the snow, it might be a little, you might take a loop and sprain or strain something. You folks at the urgent cares are there to serve them 7 days a week, aren't you?
Yes, very much so.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the services that are provided for the folks out there where you're trying to save them money on their health care.
Well, that's kind of the best part about us. You don't need an appointment. We can take care of you if you're in town, out of town, if you don't have a regular doctor, accidents never happen at a convenient time for any of us. It's always the weekend or a holiday, and we're around to take care of any needs that you have. For families, individuals, we can have stuff like our affiliate program that helps companies and everybody kind of manage their health care.
You bet. And tell us a little bit about how, and you've come up with some ideas, Alex, that it's going to decrease the amount of money that they have to spend, but still give them top-notch quality health care.
Oh, for sure, Zeb. We have an affiliate program that helps employers or individuals, anybody that doesn't have insurance, or even if you do have insurance. The deductibles these days are so high for families or individuals both that a person needs to do everything you can to keep those dollar rates low. Most people will never meet their deductible, and insurance companies know that. And so that's where we come in. We can, with our self-pay rates or our affiliate program rates, we can help keep your health care costs extremely low and help you manage things with premiums going up huge amounts every year, deductibles staying high for families. People have to look for other options, and what we try to do is bring a common sense business philosophy to healthcare. Healthcare is the only industry where you actually pay for services in advance before you need them, and it's basically kind of a bet. The insurance companies know that they're betting you're not going to need it, and you're betting you are, and they win every time.
The nice thing
when you need to come see a company like us.
Absolutely. Now, you've really grown. I'm telling you, this idea that was formulated years ago, and it's just absolutely turned into a wonderful business. Give us the locations and give us the hours that each location is open.
Well, we have locations in Burley, here on Overland Avenue. We're also located in Twin Falls on Addison. And then both those locations are open 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and 9 to 3 on Sunday. And then our Jerome location is actually growing. We just extended the hours there. It's open 9 to 7 Monday through Friday and 9 to 3 on weekends. And the Jerome location is located on Avenue A, Suite B over there.
Okay, now I had a call the other day, Alex, as a matter of fact, on Tuesday, first day back after New Year's, and the lady was wondering, and she asked me, she said, I hear you advertise for the urgent cares. Is it too late to get a flu shot for this season? And I said I would ask you on the air.
No, we still have flu shots available. So the flu shot's only $20.
Okay.
Which is the most inexpensive I know of around.
Well, you don't
need an appointment for that. Come in. All three of our clinics can take care of you.
All right. And that's the thing. You don't have to call for an appointment. I like this slogan that you've got. You get treated, not seated. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, if you've been to any, especially an emergency room or anything like that, you know that the waits can be quite a while. And if you're not feeling good, face it, nobody goes to a doctor unless they're not feeling good. The last thing you want to do is sit in a chair and wait for a couple hours to get in.
Right. And
in our facilities, you show up, you get treated. Customer service is a big thing to us, like it is in every other industry in the world. And so we know that without customers, we don't have a business, and we try to treat people accordingly.
Absolutely. Some of the other services that you provide at the urgent cares, what about the occupational health needs, drug screening, and that? Would you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, our goal is actually to be a one-stop shop for all of your health care needs. We offer pre-employment drug screenings, randoms, even on-site collection, pre-employment physicals. We can handle all of your work comp needs. That's kind of the best thing about us. We're big enough to handle anything you need, but we're small enough. If you have an issue, you call and talk to one person and it gets handled. You don't got to go through the kind of the bureaucracy of the big hospitals.
Absolutely. You know, I am very, very happy and honored to do your advertising on my program, and I want to amplify the fact that the urgent cares, and I'm going to be very explicit about the locations. Riverview Urgent Care at 382 North Overland in Burley. Urgent Care of Twin Falls at 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin, and Urgent Care of Jerome, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Alex, if people have questions, is there kind of a centralized number to call, or what do they do to learn more about the urgent cares?
They can call any of our locations. We're all linked together, so we all help each other out and work together. They're welcome to call me at 208-647-8610, or Kyle, he's the manager down here at Riverview, or Sean and Twin, or Jerome can help anybody out at any time.
Well, I want to wish to you and Kyle and all the people with the wonderful organization, the Urgent Cares, God's blessings and a very happy New Year.
Well, we appreciate it, Zeb. We're just trying to bring common sense back to the healthcare field.
And I respect that. Thank you, sir. Come back on the program soon.
We will. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. Alex Judd with the Urgent Cares, and we advertise every day for them. And they've got 3 locations in Burley, Twin Falls, and Jerome, doing a great job for you and your family. Oh, got to pay some bills here real quick, and then I'd like to take another call or two before we go to our next segment. Don't forget our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. My, they had a wonderful Christmas holiday season. And, you know, yesterday I mentioned maybe you took care of gifts for everybody but yourself. Well, maybe you should start the new year off and go on into Lee's Furniture and see them today, and maybe treat yourself to a new dining room set. Oh my goodness. Or maybe you need a new sofa for the living room, or maybe a new mattress, or even spruce up the house a little bit more and check out all the great carpet buys. Oh, they have the professionals that can serve you at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Jeff and the rest of the crew, nice people. You be sure and stop in today to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Really good folks. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I mentioned yesterday, and I want to say it again, that starting in, I think we're going to try to get it underway next Thursday, a special segment on our program where we're going to try to highlight some time on Thursdays for all the public service announcements that are going on around the area. If you have an event, whether it's, some kind of an outdoor activity, maybe something to do with a ski party or maybe some winter party, whatever it is, or a fundraiser, just send it to me at Zeb at the Ranch at hotmail.com. Once again, Zeb at the Ranch. Those are 4 words. Then after ranch, the @ sign, hotmail.com. Zeb at the Ranch at hotmail.com. And we'll get those on the air. We're looking on Thursdays for a special segment for all of those public service announcements. So give us a jingle. All right, in just a few moments, we're going to be visiting with the lovely lady, and that's Rita Ramsey. I think she's going to be calling in momentarily. And until she does, we do have time for a special phone call from you. So give us a jingle on the landline at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to chuckle a little bit because it's just, I started this story earlier in the first hour, and I didn't get it finished. California, the state of California, they know that they can't ban guns or they can't ban the sale of guns. But you know what they're doing? They're being really, really sneaky about everything. And now they're going after the ammunition. Yeah, they're going to make it tougher and tougher for you even to buy 22 shells. Seriously, they're going to make it that you can't buy any ammunition in the state of California without a special permit. They're going to make it really tough on everybody that owns a gun to buy any ammo. And if you are traveling through the state of California and you have perhaps a weapon in your car or even a box of ammunition without the weapon, and you're stopped for speeding or whatever, and they check your vehicle, you are going to be in a heap of trouble because you can't go through the state of California with any non-permitted ammunition. This is your wonderful golden state of California, making it easy for the illegals to live in sanctuary cities, but making it tough for private citizens to protect themselves. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and Wheels, is the lovely Rita Ramsey over there ready to go?
Yes, sir, she is.
By the way, Wheels, you're doing a good job this morning.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm glad that nothing unlikely has came up.
Yeah, well, you know, don't even say it. Knock on wood. Be careful, be quiet, and be concerned. Okay.
I'll throw away the key.
All right, thank you. Rita Ramsey, good morning, Happy New Year to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm real good.
What do you think of this wonderful neighbor of ours to the west, California's sanctuary state, and all the sanctuary cities and the defying of laws in this country? Isn't that just make you warm and fuzzy?
Well, it really doesn't, actually. I'll tell you something. I think, and it's probably just a matter of time, but if we look at the decline of California over the last 25 years, we'll see that a wonderful, wonderful place has really gone down the tubes. And it just makes me wonder how long it will actually be able to continue functioning, because we all know that they're broke, and we all know that they won't enforce the laws that need to be enforced, and we know that they are putting in all kinds of laws that are absolutely just putting them out of business totally. And then when you think about the people there electing Jerry Brown as their governor the second time, the first time I thought they were crazy, to elect him again, you know, at a later date, just makes you wonder what in the heck is going on there. But I would really like to see what kind of figures, economical-wise, from, like, say, Chamber of Commerce people or something like that, in comparison to the way California used to be compared to what it is now, because there are tons of businesses that have had to leave or skirt around all kinds of regulations just so they can do business.
You know, and I think that you will agree with me on this, that what we're seeing in California with Los Angeles, Sacramento, and San Francisco basically controlling the rest of the state's populace. This is what would happen if we, the United States, were to do away with the Electoral College and the major metropolises, Chicago, San Francisco, New York, they would control, they being the liberals, would control the vote for the entire United States.
Well, they really would, and that's what's really sad about the way that our system works, because you've got the great big areas, and if people are concentrated in those areas, they do take charge of the whole country. And it's really sad, because there are way, way more of us out and about in the mainstream of America and over, you know, in the flyover country, and making common sense. But it's for sure that our money is propping those blue areas up.
That's right.
And that's what's really sad about it is that we're paying for it, and that's why it needs to actually change so that we're not.
Well, I totally agree with what you said there, but the state of California right now, basically thumbing their nose at the federal government, our laws, and they are actually, caller, hold on just a minute, we'll be right with you. California right now is actually, I think, telling their citizens, their legal citizens and taxpayers, we don't care about you. You just keep putting the money up, because we're going to be more of a cautionary home for illegals to come in and take residence, only for the Democratic vote. That's my opinion.
No, that's absolutely right. And the part that's sad about it is it's not only the people of California that are maybe more conservative, it's all of us. It's you and me. It's Idaho. It's everybody, because they're getting so much federal money. I had printed off an article to talk to you about, which was a conversation that ICE Director Holman had with Neil Cavuto yesterday, and he said we're going to consider charging politicians who enact sanctuary city laws to protect illegal aliens with crimes. We're going to consider doing that. And just like they're trying to pull any of their funding back and see if they can't stop some of this, because you've got politicians that are going, oh, no, we got to let the illegals in here no matter what. And I think that we need to let immigration happen, but it needs to be legal.
Yep.
And these people that come in, when they come legally, they have to prove that they are not going to be taking any subsidies from the federal government.
That's
they
right.
Can make it on their own, or they have someone who will support them, and they will not be in our welfare systems or on the dole. And therefore, if they want to come in here and do it legally, that's what they should be able to do, and we'd love to have them. But we've got so many people that are here just to take part in all the free stuff.
That's right.
That it's bogging us down.
I absolutely, totally agree with you that we need to get back to a merit-based immigration facility, if you will. Hey, we've got a caller. I'll take that call. Good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Zev and Rita. You know, in California, when you buy a car there, you pay a tremendous fee for licensing because it's brand new, and then there's a property tax attached to it and everything. It's very, very expensive to register your car. But here's where the problem is. Say you've got a car that you're not really using anymore, so you don't renew the license. Before you can sell that car, those back taxes have to be paid.
Oh, my.
Yes, it can. As a dealer, I used to buy these cars at an auction because they'd have like $1,800 in DMV fees that are due. But if you're in California, you can't sell that to an individual until those fees are paid.
Oh, my goodness sakes. If the left hand doesn't get you, the right hand will.
And then also, because I was out of state, I was exempt from that. But if I tried to sell that car into California again, right back in the trap.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for telling us that, and I'll have Rita make a comment. Go ahead. Thank you, caller. Drive safe. Appreciate it. Rita, go ahead, please.
Well, that's what happens when you have bureaucracies, is they come up with all kinds of things like that can just really bind you and hold you down. I remember as a little girl, my dad had trucks, and he would always license them in Idaho because it cost so much less. And he worked in Idaho part of the year. Some of the other years he'd go like to New Mexico or Texas for just a few weeks. But he said, sometimes when we were living in Arizona for a time, he said, I'm going to not license my trucks till we get back to Idaho. And he could go in and license them. And I'm not sure, I think at the time, and I don't know whether it's in force now, but they actually had a thing that if you only use that truck for 3 months during the year or whatever, you could buy a limited registration for that time, which is what they did for farmers, because farmers didn't have to license their 16 trucks that were only in use at harvest or whatever.
Yeah.
And so some of the states are much friendlier to its people than, say, California, and Arizona was quite a bit higher than here. But you have to have legislators who will go in and say, you know what, we aren't here to tax the heck out of our citizens. We're here to make sure that they're protected and do what we have to do and leave the rest alone instead of just, bogging them down with things. And in California, it does not matter. They don't care about their citizens. They're only concerned with non-citizens, it seems.
Yeah. And I will say this, and I'd like to hear your response to this statement. I think, and I said earlier on Tuesday of this week, that California, Illinois, and New York are going to be the cancers that are going to spread out with their very treacherous fingers into other states if it's not stopped now. Whether it's illegal aliens, whether it's sanctuary cities, whether it's the leadership of those various cities just thumbing their nose at the federal government, pretty soon this cancer is going to turn into chaos. It's got to stop soon.
Well, you're absolutely right. The thing of it is sometimes you have to pay the piper. And it's the same thing with the debt that we have. Our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids are going to end up paying that, and we've accumulated it. And it's really sad because somebody ends up paying in the end. It doesn't just go away. It doesn't slide off of the earth and nobody pays attention to it anymore. It has to be paid, and somebody will have to pay it. Whether it's you and I or our posterity, it will have to be paid. And this is why it is so important that people understand what's going on, keep in touch with it, learn what the laws are, and make their voice heard to their representatives so that they can actually have a hand in making sure that some of these things don't continue on or that we get them cleared up.
I want to change subjects here and talk a little bit about the program on television called The View. It is a very, very hateful and spiteful program headed up by a very, and I said this earlier this morning, I don't know if you heard me or not, a very repulsive, homely, snarling woman, Joy Behar, has nothing but hate and snarls, and she absolutely finds conservatives and Christians despicable. What are your remarks about Joy Behar?
First of all, I think it's really sad that she is so narrow-minded because there are tons and tons, probably the biggest majority of the people in this country fall into that category. And second of all, for her to be that hostile towards them is only cutting her career short. She may think that she's got a pretty good gig on The View, and that's okay, but I'll bet you that they don't have really that good of a percentage of the people who watch.
Right.
And if they would get some things that were a little more uplifting, or maybe have somebody like her go off and somebody come on that was maybe a different politically or religiously or whatever than the other people, so that you get different. The View, I would have thought, was so we can get various different viewpoints. And hers always just echoes out on how they hate conservative people, the Christian people, people who want to play the game fairly. And that's all we want to do. The majority of Americans are out there working hard, going by the rules, going by the law, doing what we need to do, raising our families, being active in our communities, taking care of our communities, doing fundraising for those who are in need, and I could go on and on and on. And that's who she hates, and she's got a loud voice that's being echoed like she's the one who, that's the way everybody feels, and there's just a few of us that feels different.
Absolutely. I've got to get into, pardon me, the subject of David Brock. You know who David Brock is, a very left loon that thinks anything with conservatism or GOP or Republicanism are to be hated. Well, now it's coming out, and I know you've heard about this story, that David Brock actually allegedly offered over $700,000 to various women to make sexual allegations against President Trump, and the money was going to go through, listen to this, the attorney Lisa Bloom, the disgusting attorney Lisa Bloom, and her mother happens to be the world infamous Gloria Allred. What do you think of this mess?
Well, I think that at some time somebody needs to shut them down and start some lawsuits against those people. Those are the kind of people who they'll do whatever they can they can say, you, this, that, and the other, and then retract it back on page 85 of a small newspaper and say, well, we retracted that. After all the damage has been done, was Lisa Bloom not involved in the deal with Judge Roy Moore also?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, see, this is her modus operandi. She is just so willing to go out and do anything, and she's just prostituting herself. Anything she can do for money, she will.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter whose name or reputation is at stake. She'll go after them and do it all in the guise of, we can get some money for you, and there's a lot of people out there that'll do anything for money, and they do.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a weather forecast, and when I come back, I want to talk to you about global warming, climate change, and the elitism that's being displayed against the rest of us that don't believe in it. So stand by. Right now, the weather brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, with 2 locations to serve you, 1710 Overland in Burley and 650 Fifth Street in Rupert. And if you haven't sent out your 1099s and W-2s, better get it done. And also your tax planning for this year, well, I'll tell you what, they can help. They will help. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. You get a hold of them today, and they thank everybody for their business last year and look forward to serving you in 2018. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Feels more like spring than it does like winter. Another beautiful day in the valley, and here is what your weather forecast is panning out to be. Partly sunny skies, high of 37, a little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 8 miles an hour tonight. More clouds moving into the valley. Low of 21. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, high of 40. Tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain showers, possible snow showers up in the higher elevations, low of about 25. That is going to carry over for Saturday. 40% chance of rain showers, high of 40. Chance of snow showers for Saturday night with a low of 26. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies and a high of 38. That is your weather for Zeb at the Range.
Gina, thank you very much. And brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. With offices in Burley and Rupert, you get a hold of them today. Rita, I want to talk to you a little bit. I'm trying to remember. I got tied up with the weather, and I forgot what I was going to mention to you. Help me. My mind went blank. It happens.
I can't remember what you said.
Isn't that embarrassing? I was all set to go to another topic, and then all of a sudden I had that story and the weather, and I can't remember what I was going to discuss with you, but I will talk about Trump accomplishments quickly. I wanted to get into that. There is so much criticism of this administration, and, I know what I was going to talk to you about, global warming. I got to share this with you. My dear friend Ron Ellis, and I think you remember Ron when he lived here in the Burley area, he texted me a little message last night, and it showed on a weather map, and it's true, over 3/4 of the United States bearing under the brunt of severe cold and snow all the way down into Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, etc. And at the bottom of this little cartoon drawing of the United States with all the cold and the snow, he sent this note: Trump in office only 1 year and has already fixed global warming.
Well, yeah. Didn't you know that global warming is exempt anymore? They aren't even in existence. It's called climate change.
Well, I got to share this. Did you hear last hour when I was talking about that letter that was in USA Today with the smugness and the arrogancy of the left against us that don't believe in climate change? Did you hear that?
I didn't. I was waiting on customers furiously.
Well, let me share just 2 paragraphs of this letter and see if it just doesn't reek of being holier than thou. Listen to this. Social psychologists tell us how people react viscerally to their immediate surroundings and how their preconceptions and values inform the way they process information, especially the unwanted kind. So I agree that it's unrealistic to expect ordinary Americans to grasp the complexities of a scientific issue like climate change.
Well, that's their one card that they can always play, and that is to say that just somebody's just stupid, they don't understand, and they don't know. What you will find out is that because of the Internet and because of the Tea Party and various other things, Americans are much more in tune with what's going on in the news, whether it's political or anything else. The thing of it is, they're busy doing their regular stuff, but I don't know what it was like when you were in high school. I graduated in 73, and I remember several years prior to that, they were always talking about global cooling.
Yes, yes, the Ice Age.
Going to freeze to death.
Yes.
And then it changed to global warming.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so that they aren't made idiots, they've at least got smart enough to say, well, it's climate change. And so it doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong, and they can skew the figures however they want. And there are a few lawsuits out there against NOAA, the people who predict the weather and everything else, because they have put out figures saying these are the deals, and this is why we're having global warming and why we've got this and that and the other problem. But they exempt certain years from their data.
That's right.
So that they don't have to figure them in as part of their averages. And so the numbers that we get are left numbers. They are not the correct numbers. And so they can just make it whatever they want it to be. And if we don't call them out on it, you're darn right we're the stupid ones. But that's what's been happening over the years, is they've been able to manipulate whatever they wanted and come up with whatever they wanted and act like that it was the real thing when it wasn't actuality.
Absolutely. Okay, I've got time for one more subject, and this one is a very serious subject. Over the course of the Christmas holiday season, it looked like, and it sounds like, the escalation and harshness of what might happen with North Korea and the United States, like I said, has escalated. What are your thoughts about a very serious world problem with North Korea?
Well, I think that it could be easily avoided just by what Trump did. You have a button to push, well, we have a bigger one, and ours works, so you better watch out, you little dummy with a bad haircut. I mean,
why did you scare me like that?
I think that you just have to be like a parent who gets control of their kids and saying, you're going to go by the rules or you're going to lose all of your privileges.
Yeah.
And so all we have to do is start enforcing some rules. And speaking of, and this is a little bit off the subject of North Korea, but I think Nikki Haley's been handling a lot of the countries around the world, letting them know we're not going to put up with their crap anymore.
Yeah.
And that I think is a direct arrow towards North Korea saying, you know what? We're not going to put up with crap from all these other countries, and we're not going to pay for everything, and you better just watch out because you're going to be in the line of fire, and we won't even have to fire off a nuke or a rocket or anything else. We can do it, and it can be done, and China has to understand that they are, subsidizing North Korea, and they better get North Korea under control, or there's going to be some really bad things happen. But the main thing is just saying we're not going to put up with it. I heard someone talking, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, that, when Ronald Reagan started saying the stuff about Russia that he did, everybody just, oh my gosh, he can't do that, he can't say that, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he's just a crazy man. And I mean, the same thing from the same group of people were happening against Ronald Reagan that are happening against Trump. They're trying to make him look like he's just a cowboy out there doing stupid stuff. Well, guess what? Ronald Reagan brought down the Soviet Union, and there were no shots fired.
That's right. Let me back up just a little bit, because I think what's different between the Reagan time in office and today with Trump is the very left-wing socialist media. They actually came out in many, many sources yesterday, the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, et cetera, and they are supporting basically Kim Jong-un in North Korea and denigrating Trump. This is insane.
Well, it is, and I think that people need to start canceling their subscriptions, stop advertising, stop doing any of that. It all boils down to one thing, and that is money.
Yeah.
And when they run out of using other people's money, they'll either decide they want to stay in business and start being more responsible, or go out of business. Same thing happened with them is happening to the NFL.
I agree.
Soon, they're going to run out of money, and they're going to have to decide, do we want to go by our rules, or do we want to let them be in charge and go out of business?
Absolutely. I've got to run, or I'll be out of business. I've got to pay some bills. Rita Ramsey, God bless. Happy New Year. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, take care. Love having... The phone just got hung up, and I think my ears are broke. Good morning, everybody. And right now, I want to say thanks to Rita for sharing with us on this first week into the new year 2018. Holy cow! I'm hungry. I'm on a self-imposed diet right now after the Christmas holidays, but listen to this. I'm going to drool all over the microphone. If you're hungry and starving to death, I know some great places to go, like the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Pumpkin shakes, eggnog shakes, chicken fried steak sandwich with the fries and the special sauce, or a famous Farmer Brown burger. Oh, delicious. At the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Or how about go over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley with the pumpkin empanadas. They are good. Or the Taco Bandito has bacon with jalapeno in it and breakfast burritos. Have you had one of those delicious scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, and sauce on a tortilla shell? Good. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Moving over to Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley, and they have delicious soups every day of the week. And then they've got that mushroom burger combo, only $5.99 after 3 p.m. Oh my goodness. And all the burritos and hot dogs and tacos, everything delicious at Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Let's not forget our friends over at Steve-O's Food, made the way you love it, at 290 South 600 west of Heyburn. And don't forget, too, that they've got a new salad. I've been telling you about it for a little bit. Chaos salad. Chicken breast with bacon, pickles, jalapeno peppers, and all the goodies, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, everything. And buffalo burgers, and delicious soups, and really, really nice people at Steve-O's in Heyburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. Holy moly, have they got delicious pizza. I'm telling you, any kind of topping you want, they've got them all. They've got fantastic salad bar. They've got really nice people working there right on the square in Rupert. You folks are really fortunate to have them that close. Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just some great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. I am. We're going to take a little break, and coming up next hour, we got a whole bunch of goodies, including Cassia County School Days. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch, Wheels, take it away. Oh, goody, goody, goody. Here we go. Last hour on an abbreviated week as we enter into 2018. Zeb at the Ranch, good morning. Brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and we really appreciate the job they've done to help us over the many, many years. Thank you, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You know, I want to hit this again and ask you if you have any opinions on various segments or information segments that you'd like to see us start up this year. I have had so many people send little tidbits or give me a call about various info segments that they might like to have on the program. And what we're doing is taking some of your input, and you can send it to zebattheranch@hotmail.com. And we're going to be transitioning some of the program for this next year into different segments, whether it might be a horse segment regarding the horse industry, or it might have something to do with our economy, talking to people that are involved in financial investment, whatever. Give us a call and let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll try to move some of those segments into our programming on this show, Zeb at the Ranch. Another thing we're going to do is try to take more of the public service announcements. I mean, if you've got a gathering coming up or a fundraiser, whatever the case might be, and we'll certainly try to help you with that. And send those, if you would, to Zeb at the Ranch. Those are 4 words, ZEBATTHERANCH, and then the @ hotmail.com. zebattheranch@hotmail.com, and we'll certainly get those on the air. So keep in touch with us and let us know what your thoughts are. We would like to hear from you. I want to remind you that we're getting ready to go to Cassia County School Days. And I want to give thanks. They've been with us for quite a few years now on this program and this segment. Our 2 sponsors for Cassia County School Days, and they include A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. They've got so many of the different and diversified clothes and dresses and warm coats and the toys and the games and the puzzles and the furniture for the babies. Oh, my goodness, it just goes on and on. Stop in and visit a family store at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also thanks go out to Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. The number to call, now write this number down, because you can call them and find out how they can save you money on your outpatient surgeries, is 677-8888. I'll repeat that, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. Right now, it is time to go to the airwaves with this gentleman on the phone, I hope, a government teacher at Burley High School. I met him at a remote broadcast we did at Ramsey Heating and Electric this last fall, and I was very impressed with this man. Craig Mills, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic. You are a government teacher at Burley High School, and I've got a lot of questions to ask you this morning. But first and foremost, what do you see happening in your classroom with the awareness? I'll use that word, the awareness of your students as to what's happening daily in the news.
I would say that the biggest thing is I mean, kids seem to get a lot of the news feeds through the internet and through their cell phones. I constantly just scour the news, trying to find things that are of interest, not only locally but also at the state and the national level. So it's just there's so much going on. I mean, I tell people this all the time. I think I could teach my class without a book and just go with what's going on in the world.
I would agree with that. I hope you don't mind if I call you Craig, your first name.
No, that's fine.
But, Craig, I think that there has to be a little fear there and trepidation as far as using the Internet for a newsworthy source. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree 100%. You know, we're just finishing up a unit on mass media, and, you know, the book that we use doesn't even address fake news and altered news and what was Donald Trump's term, alternative facts. I mean, and that's really the norm of the world today. There's so much misinformation out there that just, it's hard to figure out what to believe.
Well, now, let me ask you this, and this is a speculative and your opinion question when I ask it and your answer, but we've got, I think, in this country, away from the basics of news and journalism. When I was a young man, and I know you're probably going to say, well, that's when they circled the wagons at night. Yeah, it might have been. But I think news was what the news is, what the news was, and they didn't add their somewhat unqualified opinion to the news. Do you think it's changed so far to be opinionated news that people are not getting exactly the facts they need?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. And I look back to when, they weren't quite circling the wagons when I was younger, but the function of the media was to do exactly that, to report the news. And as time has gone on, you had the various networks. CNN is very liberal, Fox very conservative, but not only do the reporters and the networks push their own personal slants and their own personal agendas, they also leave it open to for reader comment. Everything's got their comment pages and what do you think, and the blogs. Back in the day, that wasn't part of it. You read the news, you heard it on the radio, and you kind of went on with your day. Now everybody goes in, and he's like, boy, I wonder what everybody else thinks about this, and you start scrolling through, opinions of people from across the country, and who knows how much of it's just not, false posts.
Right.
It drives me crazy.
Right.
The kids do mention it quite a bit. And see that? Yeah, I saw it. Is it true?
Well, let me ask you.
And it's getting harder and harder to figure out what is real and what's not.
Right. Now, let me ask you this then, Craig. If you were to say, I'm just using a supposition number here, of 20 students in your classroom, out of those 20 students that are sitting there listening and involved in the conversation, how many on a percentage basis really are aware of what's going on in the world today?
To give you an honest answer, and this is I would almost have to apologize for it, but it's sometimes they're trying to teach young kids and try to get them involved in current events and public affairs. It's like pulling teeth. I would say of the 20, maybe 5. You might get 20%. So many kids today are focused on, what can they do on their phone? Can I take a selfie of myself sitting next to a friend and text it to somebody else? It's an ongoing battle with everybody here at school, at Burley High School for sure. And it's just we're constantly battling technology. And I think a lot of kids use technology in the wrong way or for the wrong reasons.
So let's say that you're talking about 25% of your class basically is aware of what's going on and they contribute to the conversation. What about the other 75%? How do you make them become aware or be contributing members to the class discussion?
You just push, prod, try to get them to at least to form an opinion. But a lot of times it just seems like they have to get to that age where all of a sudden it's like walking into a door. It's like, what? This does affect me. This does impact me. And a lot of times they're kids at the younger ages, they just feel that they feel like it's not relevant, when deep down it really is.
Let me ask you this then, of the percentages, and again using 25% as a figure of knowing what's going on in the world, do they understand the left and the right perspectives in policies and politics, and which one do they mostly adhere to?
I would say they understand the differences between the right and the left, and obviously being from Cache County, Idaho, most kids lean right, as their parents do. And it used to be kind of an ongoing joke when I first started. I used to look through my class for my resident Democrat, just to try to get the different point of view. And you get some kids that'll lean liberal, which they're great. I mean, I wouldn't say I agree with them 100% all the time, but they do stimulate some of the discussion. And a lot of times kids like that are the ones that actually get other kids involved, is because the other kids are like, holy cow, I never thought of that.
Do you think, Craig, that, and you and I talked about this when you were down at the remote broadcast for Ramsey's, and I want to elaborate a little bit on our discussion. I looked up some of the notes that you and I talked about the last time. But when it comes to the Constitution and the values that this country was built upon, which I think are timeless, and the forefathers of this country really had the foresight to put this country as the pinnacle for everybody else to look up to. Do these kids understand the value of that Constitution?
You know, I really think they do, and in the way that I try to teach it, you try to teach the historical context, and the issues that go with it. But it's a line that I always use in class. It's like, do you really think that the framers of the Constitution would have seen this coming in 2017? For example, a case over the last few weeks, the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case with the baker in Denver, Colorado, and the dispute of whether or not he has to make a creative wedding cake for a same-sex couple. And my question to the class is, do you really think the 55 members of the Constitutional Convention and when they put together the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, do you think they saw this coming? Did they realize this was going to be an issue? And most kids realize the answer is no, but they also realize that those people had the foresight to make it broad enough to open to interpretation.
Right. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question in the time remaining, and I've got to have you back. You got to promise to come back on the show soon. But when you
get a hold of Debbie, and she just texts me, and if you want, I'll come on whenever you need me.
I appreciate that. But when you talk about the liberal perspective or the conservative perspective on different viewpoints and different issues, and you talk about their future, do most of these kids come from a very conservative background here in this area as opposed to L.A., Chicago, etc.? What do they think about earning a future for themselves or being given a future by the government later on? What are their thoughts on this?
With some of the discussions we have in class, I think most kids around here, as a teacher, you get frustrated sometimes with the kids' work ethic. But I think as they get older, I think a lot of kids they'll start to figure out that it's going to take a little work to accomplish something. And I think, if they have good parenting, parents are going to instill that value into the kids. It's not like they're going to say, you know what, you need to find somebody to take care of you for the rest of your life. It's kind of a slow process right now.
Right.
I know with my kids, I taught them how to work when they were young. And they were rewarded for it. And to this day, both my kids they love to work.
Now, we're seeing a complete disdain by the liberal media in respect for the office of the president and the president himself, Donald Trump, with the media slamming and being very, very fluid with their hate and their venom against him. What are the thoughts of the students about the current administration?
Well, I think they feel the same way that a lot of people around the country do, is that, as conservatives or being from the conservative community, I think they like Trump, and I think they like a lot of things they do, but I think they're also afraid with some of the tweets he sends out that deal with North Korea. They kind of understand the concept of a person not being perceived as being presidential in nature. He just kind of flies off the handle. And it's funny, the more you read about Donald Trump and learn about him, he's an interesting man. I just saw the other day he doesn't drink. They say he stays up all hours of the morning.
Right.
And I knew that he did, but it was my assumption that he's up posting some of these tweets. He must be on the hooch.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Craig. He's non-conventional. He is not a politician, as you aforementioned. He is a businessman. He is in complete control of making literally billions of dollars, and now is put in the limelight as being the strongest man in the world because of the presidency. And quite frankly, being non-conventional, I don't think the American public or the world public has any right to demand that he follow a certain venue.
No, I think that when he won the election, I think that was the direction that when he won the election on that fact. He admitted he's not a politician. He is not your mainstream guy. And right now, people are kind of backing up, saying, "Whoa, we need a guy who's going to be more like, say a Barack Obama or George Bush or Ronald Reagan." But the bottom line is, you have to appreciate what he's done for the American economy. With myself coming up, retiring within the next 10 years, you got to love it.
Yeah.
And coming from states like Idaho, and I grew up in Montana. Less government regulation was better, and states like that are seeing it. They're seeing it with timber production. They're seeing it with oil drilling and even coal mining to some extent in Montana.
Right. Craig, I want to tell you, and I mean this, that the students in your class are blessed to have such a great teacher, and I wish you the best for 2018, and I am going to contact Debbie, and we'll have you back on a more frequent basis. Craig Mills, government teacher at Burley High School, I consider you to be one of the best and most articulate I've talked to in a long time. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the kind words.
Thank you, sir. Craig Mills on our program segment today, Cassia County School Days, brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. The number to call is 677-8888. I like talking to him, and he's got a window to the world, or maybe better said, a window to the soul of these kids, and conservative, liberal, whatever, what their thoughts are, what they see and hear, what they think about all the news stories. Very interesting, and I appreciate him. Right now, we're going to get all set to go and visit with another really great gentleman that I enjoy having on the program, and besides working at Barry Equipment and Rental in Burley at 159 West Highway 30. Juan is also an excellent football coach, and we're going to talk to him right now. Good morning, Juan. How are you? Is he there, Wheels?
No, sir. I had called and they said that he was out, but I have Jamie on the phone if you wanted to talk to him.
Oh, Jamie, you said?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Tell me a little bit about you and what you do there at Barry Equipment and Rental.
Oh, I'm a yard guy, and I work up at the front table, and I've known Juan for quite a while. He got me the job here.
All right, well, now listen, your first name's Jamie, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, now you don't have to be inhibited. I'm not going to paint you into any corners or anything, but you say you're a yard guy. What does that mean? What do you do?
That means I help customers load up equipment, help them find the right equipment they need for the job, and just kind of clean around and help out the mechanics as well.
Okay. So now when people come in there and they want to get a certain job accomplished or whatever, you can kind of steer them to the right piece of equipment that's going to get that job accomplished, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this? You must have a lot of knowledge.
This will be my second year doing this, and it's pretty fun.
Now, I got to ask you this. When somebody like me comes in there to Barry Equipment and Rental, and I've never run a Bobcat or anything like that, and I need it, and you got a big old sandbox out behind the store, I'll bet you get your laughs and giggles laughing at people trying to learn how to run it.
Yeah, sometimes I do, and it's pretty exciting to watch people try to run those things, and when they say they know how, and then I got to kind of teach them a little bit.
Okay, now, it's not that difficult, is it?
No, it's pretty simple to run these machines. They're not too hard.
Okay, now, tell me a little bit about the Bobcats. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of different shapes and sizes, and why? Why are there so many different sized Bobcats? Give us some of the jobs that they can perform.
Some of the sizes are just like for bigger jobs that you got to do, like these little ones, like a T650. We mostly use them for like construction sites and lifting up dirt and stuff. These other small ones, like the 500 series, it's kind of like a ones that you could use at like home, like for snow and stuff.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you this. Would the smaller size be the kind that maybe people like me in the horse business need to get down the alleyways of a barn and clean out the stalls and that type of thing?
Yeah, those smaller ones would work perfectly for that. We got like little mini MTs, walk behinds.
Okay.
Those ones would really work for things like that, for horse corrals and stuff, to get in those really tight spots.
Oh, okay. And the people out in the audience, they can come in and rent them, or they're up for retail sales too. Tell us a little bit about both programs.
Yeah, most of our stuff here, the stuff that's in the yard, it's rental and for sale. We do got brand new equipment that's only for sale, but you guys can come in here and talk to Juan about anything you want to buy.
Okay.
Anything in here's for sale.
Well, if you were to give us a thumbnail sketch, Jamie, of all the different kinds of equipment, what basically all do you have over there, so the public knows before they stop in that you've got everything you need?
We got excavators, tractors, compressors, trenchers, mowers, forklifts, just about everything people usually use on a basis during work.
Okay. And you're located at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. What are the hours that you're open?
We are open from 7:30 to 5:30.
7:30
to Friday.
Okay. Now, I heard that Juan is outside the office right now, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to go up to him when he gets back and say that you're demanding a raise. I said it was okay because you filled in for him and did a really good job.
I will do that for sure.
All right. Well, listen, Jamie over at Berry Equipment and Rental in Burley, thank you so much for being on the program this morning.
Yep, thanks for having me.
You betcha, sir. Thank you. Yep. Berry Equipment and Rental has been on my program for a long time, sales, service, and parts, and there's 3 locations to serve you: South Lincoln and Jerome, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin, and this one, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, Berry Equipment and Rental. And our thanks to Jamie this morning, filling in for Juan, and he did a doggone good job. Somebody stop in there today and say, Jamie, you did a good job. Really appreciate it. We're going to send it back over to Wheels in just a moment at our main studios, and then coming up after the break, I have one of my favorite guests coming on the program. She writes for The Stream, and she has put together a series of 12 wishes for 2018, and her name is Rachel Alexander, and she lives down in Arizona. She'll be coming up in just a moment after our break at the bottom of the hour, and your calls are appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Right now we're going to send it back over to Wheels, and we'll be back with Rachel Alexander in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you, and welcome back to our last segment. And I'm really honored to have this next lady on our program again. She writes for The Stream, and she does a wonderful job. Her name is Rachel Alexander, and she has just written a piece called 12 Wishes for 2018. It caught my attention because in the first line she said about a Christian with conservative political viewpoints want to see happen in 2018. I'm glad she's here. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning. Always so good to be on your show, and you give me such a kind introduction.
Well, you do a great job, and without any further ado, I'm going to have you kind of go through the 12 points, and I read every one of them, and I thought you did a fantastic job. So start with the month of January, and what did you want to see happen in this month?
For January, I'm hoping to see an end to the groundless media complaints about President Trump. They whine and they whine and they whine, but you know what? He's getting around them. He's effective. He tweets directly to the American people, and so they can complain all he wants. They complain all they want, but the fact is he's been very competent as a president. And if they want to try to hold him up to some Jesus standard of perfection, that's blasphemous. The Bible says nobody's perfect except God and Jesus himself.
You know, that was excellently put, and you caught my attention, like I said, right off the bat when you started talking with that first about Donald Trump, etc. Move on into February, if you would, please.
For February, I would like to see an increase in the younger generations turning to the Lord. As we all know, the millennials are one of the least church generations. They've really turned away because they were raised by these, radical hippies, baby boomer parents. And I'm hoping we might see some progress because they're showing that Generation Z has even higher church attendance than other recent generations, including Generation X, my generation.
Now, how can we do this, though? I mean, I want to ask you the whys and the hows a little bit. How can we re-stimulate, if you will, a lot of the younger generation to go back into the respective churches?
I think a lot of it comes down to you've got my generation raising, this Generation Z, and we just need to take them to church regularly. I think a lot of these baby boomers just raised their children to think, church is optional. And so, of course, a lot of kids are going to choose to stay at home and play video games instead. So I just think we need to instill in them these values, because that's how you get through to children, is you instill it at a young age. And you don't take them to, churches they're going to hate. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I've had friends I grew up with who are no longer in the church, and it's because, for whatever reason, the type of church they were going to, they didn't enjoy it. They didn't like it, and it wasn't even necessarily because it was too liberal. Some can be too conservative.
Yes. When I read March's prognostication that you'd like to see happen, I absolutely sat back and gave you a round of applause. Why can't we return to real, honest, clean humor? It worked with the Dick Van Dyke Show. It worked with other things in the past. Why can't it come back?
And that's the thing. These new shows, these Stephen Colbert and these rude late-night talk show hosts, they don't have half the audience that Johnny Carson or Jay Leno did. They're not that successful, and so there's no reason we can't return to, when comedy was pure comedy and not just Rachel Maddow remakes on the late evening shows.
When we moved on into April, you said an alternative to CNN, and really, I couldn't agree with you more. The left and their MSNBCs and their CNNs absolutely hate vitriol that they spew every day. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that CNN has become so bad. The president has exposed them so much as fake news that it's time for them to go. We only have one conservative news network out there on TV, and that is Fox News, and that's not fair. When you've got 9 of these other liberal news networks, or whatever the number is. So I think it's time for a second news outlet to arise.
Okay, now when I got to May, I needed some clarification when I read this, and I want you to explain it. What do you want to see happen in the month of May 2018?
I want the Me Too movement to become realistic, because I think that it's disintegrating into this fest where people just hurl accusations around at anyone and everyone, and I think that there is a reasonable line that can be drawn between a man who thinks he's harmlessly flirting and the woman is acting receptive toward him versus a man who really is sexually harassing or sexually assaulting. And I think, we need to put this in check before it goes too far, and innocent people are having to file lawsuits and have their names smeared.
And let me ask you this, Rachel, in accordance with what you just said, the other day my wife and I were talking about this, and the way things are now today after the Hollywood allegations and the political allegations and everything else, it's almost like the unisex society is rearing its head to the point where they don't want men to date women and the flirtatiousness, etc. It's almost like a mail-order bride, take what you get, goodbye, shut up, shut the door.
Yeah, and it's almost like they want to have it both at the same time. At the one hand, you've got these feminists saying that all, sex is rape, and then on the other hand, you've got the feminists saying, well, anything goes, and anything you want to do goes, and so they're competing values or lack of values or whatever you want to call it. It's brushing up against each other, and I don't understand how they can keep going with these conflicting viewpoints.
Okay, now this one for June really made me read and double read it because, boy, am I in favor of this. In June, you want to see a Hillary Clinton indictment. Hooray! Explain that.
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple reasons she should be indicted. It just keeps piling up. I've gone over all of her felonies, from Servergate, where she sent classified government information over an unsecured private email server, and congressional hearings just yesterday or the day before have said the amount of information that was sent was so massive that's definitely evidence of a crime. She colluded with the DNC to ensure she won the Democratic presidential primary over Bernie Sanders. There's pay to play, where she rewarded Clinton Foundation donors with favors while she was Secretary of State. And there's also evidence in Uranium One, where she colluded with the Russians to sell control of U.S. energy to the Russians.
Okay, but now I don't want you to stop there, because I think in the last sentence of your paragraph that there is a defined fear of the Clintons. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think the reason she's been untouchable and Jeff Sessions hasn't gone after her is because the Clintons are so powerful and people are scared of them. You know, whether there really is a Clinton body count, which I believe there is. There's been not just a handful of mysterious deaths, but something like 45 plus connected to the Clintons. But the Clintons are known. It's a fact. Private insiders have said they retaliate hard against their enemies. So even if you're not looking at potential death, you're definitely looking at getting your reputation smeared. Look what happened to all those women who came forward to talk about Bill Clinton sexually assaulting them.
Yeah. Now, bottom line, and this is kind of a reality check from you, do you honestly think, in your own opinion, which is very well educated, that there will be possibly an indictment of Hillary, or is this just a smokescreen?
You know, I think it's 50-50. I used to think there was less of a chance, but you never know. If you can get the right person in the right place, and it's probably not Jeff Sessions, somebody out there will have guts, and it could cost them their reputation. But if you can just get the right person out there who doesn't care about what it's going to do to their career, yes, there will be an indictment. Okay,
let's move into July, and this is really wishful thinking. The precious millennials will grow up. What do you mean?
Well, we're all sick and tired of hearing about the precious snowflakes, their trigger warnings, and their safe spaces. And, you know, I believe once they grow up and start having real jobs and families, they will lose their crazy, interest in all this politically corrupt garbage, and they'll have to focus on real life. You know, it happened to my Generation X, and, we used to be pretty liberal, but as we grew up and faced reality, my generation became a lot more conservative.
Okay, now, in the month of August, boy, this one really piqued my interest. You said stop calling Christians and conservatives white supremacists. Go ahead.
Well, that seems to be the left's latest modus operandi this past year or so, is to just label everything on the right and everything Christian as white supremacists and racists. And, I'm tired of it, because if you look at the handful, and it really is just a handful left in the country of white supremacists and neo-Nazis, their views are all over the spectrum. They aren't just the alt-right, as the left loves to do. Let's lump everything in on the right as alt-right and lump it in with the white supremacists. That's not accurate. And I have this secret view that people on the left call people on the right racist because they're secretly racist themselves, and so they're trying to project and deflect.
And would you say, and I want to make an addendum to that last paragraph, but would you say that you are very concerned about this next year with even more denigration against Christians?
Yeah, I think it's just increasing, and the only, pushback I see is a handful of people like myself are starting to identify this tactic and call it out. And if more people can jump on that bandwagon and start going on the offensive and calling the left out on these false, bogus, racist accusations, I think we can get a handle on it.
All right. Now, for the month of September, you wrote about with the headline, "An End to Political Witch Hunts." And I would add, amen. Explain that, please.
Yeah, this is one that, as you know, has personally affected me. So I have a personal, stake in this. This is where the left comes after people like former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio and does everything they can, spending millions of dollars of taxpayers' money to get the DOJ to prosecute him. And, you know, with him, they started with underlings like myself and took us out because it's easy to do. And we're now seeing this happening with the Trump administration. They're going after, you know, Donald Trump Jr., they're going after Jared Kushner, they're going after Manafort, they're going after, I'm forgetting his name, the National Security Advisor, Flynn. You know, they're taking these people down to get to Trump. And then they use these vague words like collusion, which don't mean anything because it's not a felony in and of itself, to get, you know, jurors to indict people. And so it's disgusting, and they've achieved nothing other than spend millions of dollars of taxpayers' money.
Okay, now for the month of October, and I was so glad to hear you write about this because there's been so much happening in politics, some of it which is on the dark side. You were talking about the solving the murder of DNC staffer Seth Rich. Explain that, please.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we keep hearing different developments come out about this, and the left wants to shut it down, which is very telling to me. Why would the left want to shut down the investigation of an unsolved murder? You know, there's been speculation for a long time that it's connected to him being the leaker to WikiLeaks of the DNC's emails, and I think the way information and developments keep coming out, I think we're finally going to get some answers, and it might not be that, you know, the Democrats were behind Seth Rich's murder, but we're going to find out, you know, what actually happened, you know, who murdered him and why.
Okay, and then November, of course, one of my passions. I totally agree with building the wall and really closing and slamming and locking the door on illegal immigration. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was one of Trump's big pledges that he ran on, and he's been asking Congress to fund the wall now for months, and so far Congress has not provided the money, and I think this is ridiculous. We have a Republican-controlled Congress, and, you know, I use the phrase, Congress should appropriate funds to build a wall, not to dream on, because he keeps trying to get hung up in that we need to combine this with funding for the DACA amnesty. And we all know if that's what happens, there's a very good chance that the money's all going to go for the amnesty and not much for the wall.
Absolutely. What about the solving of the immigration problem in its entirety this next year? When you look at the refugees coming in and you look at the illegal aliens coming in and the increase of people coming to this country that have no job, have no future, have no career, and dependent upon our welfare systems, we have got to stop these numbers somehow.
Well, thank goodness for Europe. If you keep up with what the refugees are doing to Europe, tearing it apart, I think that, you know, our legislators are sitting here watching what's going on, and that's going to be the only thing that stops us from becoming completely open borders is because, I mean, women can't even walk there safely without being told, you know, you're not in a rape-free zone.
Now, in December, you'd like to see Google adding the stream. Give me a little bit more elaboration on that.
Yeah, well, Google News, it's been reported over the last few years that they don't like to let very many conservative sites into that part of Google. And it's been extraordinarily frustrating because we've grown really hugely at the stream. You know, we adhere to all of Google's technical specifications, but for 3 years now, Google has not let us into Google News, and it greatly hampers our traffic. You know, we don't have a chance of competing with the big boys, Breitbart and The Blaze, because we're not in Google News. And so I'm just going to pray for a miracle there.
Let me ask you some other subjects that you didn't necessarily really expand upon. The stock market, the economy, and one of my fears for this year, North Korea.
Well, I think the stock market and the economy are just amazing. And, you know, I wrote another article called Trump's Sneakily Successful First Year, and that's because the economy has rebounded under him in the stock market, despite the fact that the left just wants to nitpick him to death over his tweets. He's just been quietly getting things done. And as for North Korea, I mean, I think, you know, we've been dealing with a crazy dictator that was, you know, essentially helped into power back by Bill Clinton. And so we're just cleaning up that mess. And the reality is there's very little he can do. He doesn't have, you know, ICBMs that can reach the continental United States. He's got a few that he can do a little damage with, but we're talking about a 2-bit dictator.
Right. I don't know where in the world you sat down upon a rock out in the Arizona desert and came up with these, but you did a phenomenal job on these 12 wishes for 2018. And if somebody wants to follow your writings with the stream, tell them how they can do that.
Aw, thanks, Seb. You're so kind. You can find my columns at stream.org. I also write for townhall.com once a week. And you can follow me on Twitter at Rach_IC.
Well, I want to wish you a very happy new year, and thank you for being a part of our program. Job well done, Rachel. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, take care. Rachel Alexander, good friend of mine, and writes for the stream and does a very, very good job. Holy cow, got to get the weather forecast on here quickly. And the weather is brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call Don and the crew, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website. Oh, my goodness, they've got a listing of all the delicious meats available over at Scarrows Meats, scarrowsmeats.com. All the breakfast sausages and the bacon and the prime ribs and the smoked hams and the turkeys. Oh, it's delicious. You're going to love Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Feels more like spring than it does like winter. Another beautiful day in the valley, and here is what your weather forecast is panning out to be. Partly sunny skies, high of 37, a little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 8 miles an hour. Tonight, more clouds moving into the valley. Low of 21. Tomorrow, partly sunny skies, high of 40. Tomorrow night, we do have a 20% chance of rain showers, possible snow showers up in the higher elevations. Low of about 25. That is going to carry over for Saturday. 40% chance of rain showers, high of 40. Chance of snow showers for Saturday night with a low of 26. And then for Sunday, mostly sunny skies and a high of 38. That is your weather for Zebedee.
She does a great job compiling all that weather information for us on a daily basis. Thank you, Gina. And the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. And Don and the rest of the crew, my goodness, delicious meats, and they are changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. Woo! We made it through the first week after the holiday season of Christmas and New Year's, and man alive, I certainly appreciate all the calls and the well wishes. And I said this before on Tuesday when we came back on the air. I said thank you to all the people that sent us cards and gifts and people that stopped by with well wishes and everything for a very big and better, hopefully, 2018. We're going to be doing a lot of expanding here on the program with various segments and everything, and your input would be appreciated. So we certainly say thank you to everybody. By the way, too, a big thank you goes out to our major sponsor, and that's, of course, our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, where they want you to be ready and prepared for winter driving, which we know we're going to get another shot. We know we're going to get another blast, and you better be ready with the traction tires to get you through all the snow, the ice, the muck, and the yuck. And they've got them all for you. For your cars, pickups, SUVs, stop in and see them today. And don't forget, the best in brake service, the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and in cold weather, the best in batteries, too. You got to have a good battery. Stop in and see any one of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Yes, sir, Bob, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Woo! We made it through the week, and we've got a lot of plans for a big week next week. And I want to just kind of give you a heads up for a couple of weeks from now. Starting on the 16th of January, we're going to be doing the legislative update again on this program. It's going to be every Tuesday at 9:30, and we're going to have either Representative Fred Wood or Speaker of the House Scott Bedke or Senator Kelly Anthon, and they're going to be telling and explaining exactly some of the hot items that are happening in the legislative session in Boise this year. So that's going to be starting on Tuesday, the 16th of January at 9:30, and it will be every Tuesday all the way through the legislative session. Got to run, and thank you. God bless all of you, and I really hope for you and your family a blessed and happy New Year. Zeb at the Ranch, we're going to be back Monday at 8:06, and remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be.